You should be able to see the screen. I'm trying to share Ruchi's mark sheet. If not, let me know. I'll reshare it. Need just sheet. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
So, this side, so I don't know how I left the meeting. Can you give me that number again so that I could share it on WhatsApp? I'm unable to share it directly on Zoom.
Okay, I understand. I was actually waiting for you. Okay. Because your mark sheet looked close enough, so that will be a good example to understand the difference. So yeah, I shared it. Make it fast, Shraddha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me start with Jashwin. So let's look at this mark sheet. Before I even proceed forward, how many of you think this is a fantastic scorecard? How many of you think this is a fantastic score sheet or scorecard? I need some responses for the kind of results which you have got. For the kind of results which we have got. Okay. Now I'll explain you. I'll break it down step by step in terms of how Jashwin from failing in his previous attempt has cleared, has got this mark sheet. What are the kind of efforts? What is the quality of efforts? What are the 2-3 decisions? And most importantly, what is the final touch which has helped him achieve this? Okay, it's not a normal achievement, especially with this kind of result. Normally, some other day I would not have bothered because our own students got a lot of scores higher than this. But with this kind of effort, I'm sure all of us understand that this is a difficult thing, right? So in terms of, achieving it, yes, you can share it. I think for people who wanted to share their mark sheets, I'll just drop my number, or please send it over mail. It will be easy for us. Okay, guys, all the questions I'll answer at the end. Initially, I just wanted to understand the composition of the people who are attending today. So rest of it, I'll answer all the questions at the end. Okay. So now we are looking at a case where how did a student who has failed in his previous attempt is able to deliver this kind of result? And most importantly, we are talking about a couple of exemptions. Now, one more thing, you would never find us talking very particularly about ranks, because no matter what you do, there are only 50 ranks. So if somebody says that I got 120, next attempt I want to become a ranker, it's not normal. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but it's not normal. So if you are having very unrealistic targets, it might lead to a crash. So it is if you want to think about rank, first in the first 20 days, 30 days, cover some target aggressively, complete a couple of subjects, show your potential to yourself, then think of that. Otherwise, you're not directly eligible to think of rank, because it is called overcorrection. Last time I failed, my friends and colleagues insulted me. Now I need to show what I am. So psychologically, it skips the steps in between 120 to 550. It looks a convenient motivational target, but it is not going to happen automatically. So people who want a very good score or who want to crack both groups, all of that, it is fine. You need to understand that 500 comes after 400. There is no harm in thinking about a rank. There's no harm in thinking exemptions, but 500 comes after 400. So you cannot jump and bypass from 220 to 500. So that is something which I want to tell most of the students who are asking me for a rank. So first of all, you have to take it forward. Even inter students also it is relevant. Okay, right. So we are looking at this mark sheet. Now, what are the steps which he has done? What has made this possible is what I wanted to start with. I just finished a session. In fact, had you joined 15 minutes earlier, you would have even met him. I just finished it at 6:57 or something around that. Okay, fine. Next. So this is where it started. Now, in terms of timeline, you can look at it. You might ask, are 3 months enough? Like the next question is, okay, I'm willing to start my preparation today. Some of you might be saying, I'm willing to start my preparation today. Would I be able to clear in November? How many of you have this question? Now, before I proceed forward, how many of you have this in the mind? How many of you have this question that if you start from your preparation today, whatever has happened, can I really clear? Can I actually clear? Don't just say it to encourage me. Don't just say it to motivate me, right? You want a real answer? How many of you want the truth? If you want the truth, please type truth. If you want the truth, please type truth. How many of you really want to know if it is actually possible to clear if you're starting from today? Okay, you wanted the truth, right? I'll show you the truth. All of you wanted the truth. I'll show you the truth. Fantastic. So I'm sharing whatever has happened between us, whatever conversation has happened between us. Since you wanted the truth, there's nothing to hide. So I'm sharing it outrightly. You can have a look. Is it visible for you, all of you? Can you see the date here? Date of the conversation. Is the date of the conversation visible? It's a, I would say, WhatsApp screenshot. Is the date of the conversation visible for all of you? Can somebody mention what is the date where he has started? I just came home from the marriage. Can you mention the date? So if you have found it, what is his preparation for this Jashwin? What are the number of days he has prepared for him to clear in May when he has started on 30th January? What are the number of days he has prepared? This is an open question to all of you. Simple calculation. If you can see the date, what are the number of days he has prepared? Okay, Shweta says 90 days. All of you explain that 90 days. Okay, fair enough. Done. Now, how many days do you have for November 23? Mention in days. Mention in days. How many days you have to prepare for November 23? Give the exact number. I'm calling it 100-day strategy because there will be some normal losses. Okay. So which means do you have 30% more than Jashwin or 20% more than Jashwin? Yes or no? Jashwin was able to do it in 90 days. Okay. You have at least 20 days. So time is not the problem. All of you, if you honestly believe that time is not the problem, please type time is not the problem. If you don't type. Those who believe that time is not the problem, please type time is not a problem. If you think time is still a problem, please type it also, because I want to be truth. I want to be totally honest about it. You need not get convinced with me. You can look at how your mind is responding to you. I respect that. Oh, time has never been a problem. Fantastic, Samad. Fantastic. I'd like to talk to you at the end. Fantastic. Time has never been a problem. Wonderful. Doubtful for both groups. Okay, good. Shraddha, that's a good point. Doubtful for the both groups. Okay. Okay. All the set of people who are talking about both groups, I'll come to that. Okay. As long as group 1 is considered, let me not even make it generic. As long as group 1 is considered, do you have anyone in the house who says the time is a problem? Who is writing only group 1? Who is writing only group 1? Is there anyone? Both groups will discuss. Yes, you're right. Okay. So he has started somewhere on 30th of January, which is like 1st February, because that is where he is asking this question. Shall I start with a boot camp? Should I start with this? Should I have enrolled for SUPER36 and have it been added to any group technical glitch? Or he's trying to understand where he can get the information. It says a study buddy. He's asked all these questions. So first he has started. Now, this is where it has ended. So that is the very first interaction. And this is the final interaction, which happened. Like I also mentioned that I promised to your father and you delivered. So this is exactly where we interacted. And then we decided to come together and speak. Okay. So I asked him what exactly, much before he came into the session, much before he came into the one-to-one call, I asked him what exactly made you declare. Please share us a detailed review. So this is what is mentioned. Preparation plus mentorship is equal to pass. This is what is mentioned. Now, let us not bother about, see, let us not worry about the definition of preparation. Let us not worry about the definition of mentorship. That is not what we want. We are only worrying about the definition of pass. What is the definition of pass? You have to cross 200 in group 1. Okay. Definition of pass is you have to cross 200 in group 1. Let's simplify everything. Okay. Let's not worry about jargon. You don't have to understand the technique. You only have to understand the process for now. Okay. Now, I knew from the start of this course that discipline and proper guidance will make this CA course easy, but it took years to find a mentorship program like this. Okay, I cleared group 2 of CA final and failed 2 times in group 1. Okay, do I have anyone who is in a similar capacity where they already clear group 2, but stuck with group 1 alone? Do you have someone like that here in the session? Nikhila, okay, let me write your names. Nikhila, Rajan, okay, Rajan, I know Rajan, okay. Ashish, Nikhila, Rajan, Ashish. Oh, many times. Okay. Okay, we have a good number of people. Okay. We have a good number of people. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. At least 4 to 5. We'll have one particular discussion on this. Okay. Fair enough. Priya Shetty. Understood. Understood. Right. So all those people who have cleared group, all those people who have cleared group 2 know the pain. Now you understand the statement, right? I cleared group 2, but failed in group 1. Even I'm trying to go to the extent of 185 from there, I'm getting stuck. That's what I mentioned. So getting to 185 is one thing, but 185 to 205 is another whole episode altogether. Now, how many of you experience this also, where you have crossed 175 or 170 or whatever score it is, where you are stuck with the final 20-30 marks? If you are stuck with there, please mention where you are stuck. What is the number? What is the number where you're stuck? Is it 170, 175, 160? Okay. 178, 179, Sumit 175. Okay. 175, Rupa 190, 183. Okay. No, Srinivas will know. 140 is very different. 170 is fine. Okay. 170. Got it. Okay. Now, so before I proceed forward, the problem, like before when he's mentioning, if you think this is relatable to you, please type relatable. If you think this is relatable to you, please type relatable. Type relatable, because I'll understand if I'm solving this case study, it is useful for you. Otherwise, I don't want to solve a case study which is not relatable to you. To whom it is relatable, mostly people in one group or both groups also, it is relatable. Okay. When I come to group 2, you'll be finding far more clear-cut connection. Okay, relatable. Done. So he just mentioned that I just got started here after joining. Okay, let me read the next line. So I scored 185 last attempt. The 100-day strategy given by Himakant sir during the preparation with boot camp, which gave me the confidence to start the preparation. Okay, he's talking about 100 days. He's talking about 100 days. The most important point here is 100 days. Do you have 100 days? Yes or no? So when he's talking about something, when he's talking about a time frame, do we have 100 days? In fact, he did not have 100 days. He had only 90 days. He had to execute 100-day strategy in 90 days. So for you have 100 days, right? Okay. So as far as the time, you don't have any problem. I started the preparation with bootcamp, which gave the confidence to start the preparation. I'll tell you what is bootcamp and how you can use it. Okay. I went consisting in filling the day end revision and summarizing all the topics, which was helpful for revision. This is very important. I was consistent in filing the day end revision. DR is day end revision, and summarizing all the topics which was helpful for revision. Exam mistake tracker helped me to understand where I'm in the stage of preparation and what exactly is the area to improve. Okay. So 2 things you have to remember. One is 100 days is needed. You have to be consistent in revision. Consistency in revision. Okay. Before I dig deeper, how many of you already understood that you might have failed because you are not very consistent in preparation? How many of you understood that you might have failed because you are not very consistent in your preparation? Can I get some responses here? Okay, so already we identified problem number 1. much before we went deep, did we not identify a problem number one? Problem number is clear. Okay, so you are most likely would have failed because you're not revising. You're not revising enough. So when this happens, the first thing is, since a problem is identified, let's not solve other problems. Probably you might lag in presentation. Probably you might not be good at one particular subject. First of all, you immediately have to find a problem solution to the first problem which you have identified, which is revision. Okay, we'll discuss on what exactly the problem with revision, and we'll try to find a solution. Okay, I think this is making sense for you. Next, he said exam mistake tracker help me to understand where I am in the stage of preparation and which area to improve. Now this is a deeper thing. How many of you have the issue of not knowing where you stand in preparation? So let's say your only way of understanding your preparation is ICI. You're preparing well, you're working hard, you're studying hard, but you're not knowing where you are. You don't have a comparison, or you don't have a real-time metric tracking where you are in the stage of preparation. Where you're in the stage of preparation. Okay, so we understood two problems here. Number one, not able to revise consistently, not knowing where you are in the stage of the preparation. Two problems. I'll also tell you the third problem indirectly. This 100 days is not the maximum days. It is the minimum days. It is the minimum number of days where you have to prepare. Shorter time also possible. I think you can show you testimonials with people who have studied for 10 days also. See, these are exceptions case. I cannot make it a rule. AB de Villiers scored a century in 31 balls, or I cannot keep replicating it, right? But 100 days thing I can replicate thousands of times. 10 days thing I don't know whether the same person can clear it once again or not. So 100 days is the minimum possible time or minimum required time for somebody to clear this exam, right? So how many of you have realized that you may not have prepared for the entire 100 days? Or please write the number of effective days which you have prepared for the last attempt. Please clearly mention the number of effective days which you have prepared for the last attempt. Right? So most of you who are mentioning less than 50 days, you're not even eligible to think about results. If you pass, you can pass. I'm telling you once again, you can prepare. That's not a mistake. There is no doubt about it. Some of them will clear. My own students clear. That's not what I'm talking about. In a particular way, even I prepared for both the groups in 32 intensive days. My days were like crazy. Like my day is like 4 to 5 days of my friends. When I say 30 days, it is better than 100 days of most of my friends' preparation. They even after preparing 3 months, they could not clear. So my intensity is different. But in a general manner, in a generalized manner, if I have to look at it, 100 days is what is required. So those of you who are studying for less than 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 4 weeks, don't worry. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about this result because you're not put in the preparation at all. You just did a lottery. That's it. You took a gamble. So there is no question of testing yourself. There is no question of worrying about it. People who have prepared for 50 days has a 50% chance. What is 50% chance? 50% of the actual probability. If the actual probability on average is 20%, you're starting with a highest probability of 10%. There is only 10% chance that you might clear if you study for only 50%. Those who have studied for more than 70 days, 70 days is decent amount of time. Those who have studied for more than 70 days and still did not clear, you slightly have to think. Okay. 70 days, it is also possible to clear. So these set of people have to think. Less than 50 days, 40, 30 days, it's not preparation. You can be actually relaxed. I tried something happened, I got 150, 160. You can be relaxed and you can clear the next attempt aram se, because you did not put in the quantity part. Okay. So these are the 3 things which you have already noticed. So I'm repeating this. Number 1, you might not have studied for adequate amount of time, which is probably which is less than 80 days or 70 days. Next is not revising enough consistently, and the third one is not knowing where you are standing in preparation. Now let me further bifurcate what we are discussing. what stage of preparation are like what out of these 3 problems, what is the main problem because of which you have failed? Out of these 3 problems, decide only one. I want all of you to decide only one. Out of these 3 problems, what is the main problem because of which you would have failed? Only pick up one. Pick up the main problem. So we listed out 3 problems. Out of this 3 problems, what is the main problem which you would have failed? Okay. Throughout the session. Okay, now that you have a problem. Now that you have a problem. So your problem is your solution. If you have found your problem, your solution is done. If you have found your problem, your solution is done. Majority of you don't have clarity on the specific problem. Now that you found your problem among these 3, you got a reasonable solution. Okay, now we'll try to understand what exactly is the actual solution. Next, exam presentation session was helpful to me as I lacked most there. I was able to score exemption audit, which was the toughest paper in attempt, only because of tips are given and the mindset that will attempt 100 marks even if I don't know anything. Okay, after writing the exam, I was scared about my results, but I trusted the process. My hard work was hoping for a positive result. So this is the leap of faith. So almost how many marks improved? 42 marks improved. 42 marks improved. Okay, so in 100 days he is improved 42 marks. Okay, fair enough. And that too from 180. So 160 to 40 marks is very easy. After crossing 180, every mark is very difficult. It's almost like 60-70 marks improvement if you have to compare from 160. Okay, fair enough. So this is the point where you would have understood 3 problems already. In this, there is only one more additional thing which you should look at. How many of you did not present or practice enough? How many of you realize that you did not present or practice enough? How many of you realize that you did not present or practice enough? Where you are not writing it every day, where you would not have presented or something. Okay, got it. You understood, right? Perfect. So we looked at 4 problems already. Now I'll tell you something. So I can see the name. Can somebody type the name here? So this is the day and revision. I'll show it practically. Can you see the name? Can somebody write the name? What is the name of the person here? Okay. What is the average number of hours he has studied? What is the average number of hours he has studied here? Can you see this on the screen? This is our internal tracker, but today I don't have internal external. If somebody is coming and talking to me, I want them to clear because you're coming on the result day. On average 10, you can see. Number of marks covered today. What is the average number of marks he has covered? 9 here and there, but mostly 10, right? Average is 10. What is the number of marks he has covered? Right. If somebody can see this, the number here. Can somebody see the number? If you can see, what are the number of submissions he has made? Number of submissions here. Number of times he has submitted the day and revision tracker. Number of submissions. Can somebody see the number and type it? Number of submissions. Can somebody see and type it? Here. Okay. So before I proceed forward, what does it imply? I showed you a name, the same CA Jashwin. I showed you some numbers, right? 10 hours here, 10 marks here, 74 times. What does this number indicate? What are we trying to understand, or what are we trying to know from this? Can somebody text what exactly are we trying to imply from this? What are we trying to understand, or what are we trying to imply? I'm giving you, I want you to think about it for a minute. Think about it for a minute and respond. Lovely. I liked what Ashishwi said. Yes. At least 740 hours of preparation. consistency, 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 consistency. Now, how many of you realize this already? If you're smart enough, you should realize this already. The difference between you and Jashwin is only consistency. How many of you realized the difference between your failure and Jashwin's passing the exam is only consistency? How many of you realize this? When you see 740 hours, okay? Got it? Okay. Now, let me address this first part, consistency. Now, I have made sure Jashwin has become very consistent. In fact, that's what he said. Like, what I'll share the video also after this. That's what he said. I become very consistent. Every day I was studying. So that is one big change, and my preparation has become systematic. Now, consistency is no longer your problem. Consistency is my problem. Okay. How I should make you consistent is my problem, my headache. Let's say once you go to the doctor, your problem becomes the doctor's problem. You don't have to worry about it. If I give you assurance, if I give you, a clear-cut path in terms of how you can build consistency along with the implementation process, along with the implementation path, if I make sure you'll study consistently for the next 100 days, that's out of 120 or 117, 115, I'm removing 15-20% as normal loss. Okay, let's remove that. 100 days of consistency, I'll ensure 100 days of consistency. If I ensure 100 days of consistency, I'm not touching about anything. I'm not touching about revision. I'm not touching about exam presentation. I'm not touching about your answer writing. I'm not touching about your formulae. I'm not touching your mindset. If I assure you that the next 100 days, I'll ensure you'll study consistently. What is consistency? Studying consistently. So if I assure you that you're going to study consistently, okay, if this is my responsibility till the end of the exam, how many of you clear? How many of you can clear in November 23? I'm talking about consistency. I'll come to the other problems. If I can do that for you, how many of you? I want a clear-cut response here. Okay. So I have Anusha, Srinivasulu, Priya, Simran, Ashish. Guys, if you're responding, I'll be paying enough attention to you. Rajan, Nirja, Varun, Yashashvi, Akash. I'm talking about only consistency. Other problems you can wait. Ruchi, Varun, Rahul, Chinmay. Okay, most of you are with consistency. Okay, Chinmay. Okay. Oh, maximum number of people are at this level. Okay. Manju, Ashish. The list is not running. Yes. Okay. Okay. So by just solving one problem, so many can clear. It's a very simple problem. It's the simplest problem for us to fix it. Simplest problem. Consistency is the easiest problem we solve. Okay, fair enough. Milan. Okay, done. Right. So towards then we'll come back to consistency. Okay. Now we are discussed about consistency, and you understood that I would say Jashwin is not only saying that he has become consistent in the mentorship, it is visible, right? It is tracking. It's not saying it. We are able to see. We are able to see it. There is no end to how much access I can give. I can even give you access to these notes, but it takes a lot of time. Anyways, we'll share it to the students once they're inside the program. But for now, all of you understood that you are kind of clear about the consistency part. Okay, so this is clear. Now, in terms of this one, okay, how many of you can see a number? Exam mistake tracking. How many of you can see a number here? Can you mention the number? What is the number here? What is the number? Right. in terms of presentation, in terms of practice, in terms of presentation practice, he has written at least 11 exams in exam conditions, ICI stimulation condition. Now, when I say exam mistake tracking, this is not just writing and throwing your paper to a 200 rupee test series who write something and reading and send it back. No, not that bullshit. This includes evaluation of the mistakes. If it takes 3 hours to write the paper, it'll take another 2 hours to evaluate, and they'll have to specifically submit the decisions. I wish I can show you. I'll show you towards the end. You should actually clearly mention, why did you choose question number 1? After choosing question number 1, what went wrong? Why did you choose question number 2? After choosing question number 2, what went wrong? Why did you choose question number 3? After choosing question number 3, what went wrong? So every single exam, you have to break it down both in terms of questions, in terms of decisions, and also in terms of execution. What are the problems you have solved? What are the answers you have written? And after that, what has happened? So if you see the entire steps, if you see the entire process, he has written and understood from this 11 exams, he was able to avoid 15 to 20 mistakes in each subject. 15 to 20, because each exam you'll come with 3 to 4 mistakes. So 11 mistakes will give you at least 40 mistakes, which is like his 40 mistakes on his own, and probably another 2-3 mistakes from other, at least make it 10. So I would have identified 10 mistakes which students normally make in the main exam. 10 mistakes which students normally make in the main exam, he did not do them in the main exam. He did not do them in the main exam. Now, how many of you here? How many of you here? I'm not talking about consistency. Let's look at it exclusively. How many of you here, if you could have avoided 10 mistakes in each paper, it includes the choice of question, it includes striking of the answer, it includes spending excess time on a particular question, it includes striking off a question and restarting the same question without moving to the next question. Whatever mistake it is, it includes arithmetical calculation. It includes every mistake which you could have possibly done. So how many of you believe that if you had avoided those mistakes, had you not committed those mistakes, you would have cleared? How many of you think that by avoiding certain mistakes in the exam, you would have cleared that paper? I'm talking about mistakes. Simran was saying, yes, 50 minutes and 10 marks question. It's a blunder. It's a crime, not a mistake, Simran. Crime. In 50 minutes, we make you to cross 30 marks plus. It's a crime. Okay, so if you go through the same process, if you are put into a particular process, where on a weekly basis, you will be writing a full length exam, where you'll be capturing those mistakes on a regular basis, where you get access to the mistakes of other students also. If all of these things are happening, because see, Jeshwin has written it 11 mistakes, but he'll get the mistakes of all 544 people. The summary of the mistakes is simplified and shared in the form of live sessions where you get access to certain mistakes which are not committed by you, which you would not have thought about right now, which you would have committed directly in the main exam, So if you get a chance to write, like how many exams you can write? At least 15, okay? If you get a chance to write 15 exams before the main exam, along with the exam mistake tracking, along getting access to another 500 mistakes, how many of you think that you can definitely clear in November 23? Please type, I can clear in November 23 if this is given to you. if this benefit is given to you. Again, you don't have to worry about where can I get this tracker? How can I do it? That is none of your business. Right? So we already understood how revision would have helped you clear. Now let's say retrospectively, let's go back. Let's go back now. Now we went to the future. Let's go back. Had you submitted this tracker, let's say had you submitted this tracker 74 times and then written this 11 exams, how many of you think you would have cleared in May 23 itself? Had you submitted those? Because we're going back and forth. I'm just taking you back and forth. If you do this, you can clear in November. You could have done it already. You would have cleared it already, because this is what a lot of students are saying. Now, once we looked at back and forth, like went to the previous attempt, we went to next attempt. So what is a logical conclusion? Before I proceed forward, what is a logical conclusion? What is the logical conclusion? Can somebody mention it? So what are we trying to learn? What are you trying to learn from this? What are you trying to learn from this? Consistency is required. Proper planning is required. Consistency with tracking is required. Consistency with proper planning is what is required. Okay. Okay. Proper mentorship. Identify the mistakes. Have to appear. Need to write exams. Yes. You'll all learn different lessons. All are important. So you pick up what exactly is the best lesson which suits you. Okay. You talk about efficiency. You talk about this. You talk about consistency. You talk about proper planning and everything. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Now then we explained about this particular time, energy, attention. So I was mentioning about how the process, once it came in, how the time was being utilized, energy is utilized, and attention has been blocked. We have something called focus block slots. And we asked this questions: what was the biggest change in his preparation? And a lot of students find it hard. These are the questions which we discussed with him. And this is a final step. Like he has already did this, he has cleared this. He wants to get placed in an international camp. So I recommended Credit Suisse, where he wanted to get started in, I would say, Singapore. And apart from that, he said he wanted to start entrepreneurship. I also welcomed him to join the mentorship, where instead of, student now has become a part of this, he'll come back and teach the next set of people. So this is his journey briefly. So the details we'll discuss, but in terms of looking at the mistakes, this alone has given you a lot of insights in terms of what should have happened and what has happened. And this is clearly visible. This is clearly visible in terms of your marks, which are extremely stunning, especially 60 here and 61 here. Okay. So this is the proper understanding of the same group, the same preparation pattern, and what you would have done differently. So you notice 3 things here. If you study for 70 or 80 plus days, or let's make it 100 days, why compromise, why discount? You have to study for 100 days, and then you have to revise consistently, and you have to write at least 15 exams, right? Study for 100 days, revise, submit or day-end revision at least for 70 days, and write exams for 15 days. If these 3 things work, most of you will become a chartered accountant, or most of you will clear group 1. Now, the only question is, would you do it? Can you do it is the only question. There is no doubt that if you do this effectively, if you do all these 3 things together, you'll clear. There's no doubt about it. But if you do something half-off, if you do inefficient quality, if you are doing day-end revision just for the sake of it without the actual intention or without putting in those 10 hours, things will be very different. Okay. So 15 exams are all together, not for one subject. All papers together, you have to write around 12 exams. Like each subject, 2-3 papers. Each subject, 2-3 papers. That's it. No, 15 for all together. Yes. Right. So how many of you got some clarity until this point? Before I proceed forward, How many of you got some clarity on this point? Shraddha, you're there? So let's see if Shraddha is there. I got her mark sheet now. So this is where we have reached. So is Shraddha there? Shraddha, if you're there, you can. Okay.
Yes.
Can you switch on your video? I'll bring you on screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Shraddha.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Where are you from?
So I'm from Kota, Rajasthan.
Kota, Rajasthan. Okay. So I hope you got an understanding of how this person called Jashwin, now who is CA Jashwin, has spent his last 100 days. Now, in comparison with his routine or in comparison with his preparation, please help us understand how you are prepared in the last 100 days or whenever you're starting.
So I wasn't that consistent. I in the last few months I gave it my like 90%, I could say, but not 100%. No, I haven't studied 10 hours a day, and while studying, I used to pick up my phones and scroll on Instagrams and everything. So that is like addiction for me. So these little mistakes I could have, although I have completed 3 times of revisions, but still I could have given it my 100%. Like in audit and law, I haven't done any written practice. In FR and SFM, I had, and in both the subjects, I have got the exemption. But I got to know that maybe my FR exemption won't be counted because I got it in this attempt. I have regarding that.
No, you don't have to worry about it. You got an exemption this time, right?
The SFM exemption I got in the last attempt, and this time I got 16 FR.
Okay, so you can pick up only one technically.
Yes.
Yeah, you can use whatever is the highest one. Okay, but the best part is that you cross the benchmark. Like once you touch 60 in a particular subject or 55, it stays. It does not go back. In terms of the numbers, probably you'll have to go and get 140. Which I don't think is a problem. By now, I'm sure much before I said anything, you would have understood the difference already. What exactly the difference and what it takes.
Knowing the fact and doing it are two different aspects.
I'll get there. Okay. I'll yeah, please go ahead. I'll respond. Yeah.
We all know that we should be consistent in everything. Means we are in that stage now that we understand things, but to do the same is something different. A person can be motivated for 10 days, for 15 days, but to practice the same schedule every day, that's a challenge itself, I think.
Yes. So what do you think would have worked for Jashwin? Because for every student, it is the same, right? You also know, Jashwin also know. But you could not do it, Jashwin has did it. So what do you think he would have done differently to convert this knowing into doing?
Obviously his hard work and everything, his determination that I had to do it. Like,
what else?
I don't know. Consistency only.
No, see, the point is, if you have scored 190, in terms of caliber, both of you are around the same thing. Both of you are at the same level. And you have to remember that he was at your position in the last attempt. He scored 185. He scored 185. And when I asked him why you got stuck at 185, he said the same reasons. I'm not able to study consistently. I was, preparing in a random basis. I'm not able to move forward, and it was not very efficient and effective. That is what he has said. Okay. So he has been there. He has been in a situation where he has also fell short of 15, 20 marks without crossing 200. Now you are in the situation. So both of you are in the same phase at some point. Now, what do you think he has done differently to solve it? Look, he had the same problem, he solved it.
More practice sessions.
Yeah, the question is how. See, there are only 3 things. He was able to become consistent. He was able to revise things on a daily basis. And he was able to write exams on a weekly basis, like 70 times day end revision and 15 times exam mistake tracker and 100 days of consistency. 3 numbers, 100 days of preparation, 70 days of revision, everyday revision, and 15 days of exam is what has differentiated. This is what we know.
Yes.
Now, what could be the reason why he was able to do all of this? What could be the reason why he was able to do all in terms of execution? What could be the reason?
Plan.
Pardon?
He had a proper plan for everything, that I have to do this particular thing on this day. I usually don't make plans because I think that I'll be able to follow it for only 2-3 days, and then I switch on to my own things. It's okay if I have completed this today, I'll complete the other part tomorrow. Like,
guys, I want all of you to think about it, because the point is, your thought process is stuck around the problem level. You're not identifying what is the game changer, because for Shraddha to move from 190 to 230, you need to identify what he has done it. So you only have a superficial understanding. You're not getting what he actually has done. He has done something which is very, very smart and intelligent. Think about it. I want all of you to think about it. Think about it. I'll give you some time. Think about it.
so he had that determination that I have to achieve this. And sometimes we compromise on our goals. Like, it's okay if we have completed it today.
So don't you have the determination? Don't you have it?
That determination, but sometimes we compromise. Like it's okay. We know where we are making the mistakes, but we purposely we think it's okay. We'll do it. If we haven't done it today, we'll do it tomorrow. We think that.
What I'm asking is a very, very deep and hard question. It's both deep and hard. And this is the single most reason why, even after watching, hundreds of videos on how to get rich or how to trade with good profit margin or whatever it is, you cannot get it. So it's not easy. It's not obvious, but these are called critical success factors. Like, you need to, let's say you watch the interview. I think Nandini Agarwal was very famous, right? Recently, a couple of years ago, at 19, she cracked it. Everybody would have known about her. So she has shared everything. She keeps on sharing her. So if an AR1 who is scoring almost 75% of marks is sharing everything, why is somebody not able to adapt it and score it to 45%? Because they're not getting it. They're not getting what she's saying. The things are in the superficial level. So the same thing is happening. You're talking about things which are superficial, which you won't be able to go back and implement. What is the key takeaway? That is something which you can go back and implement. Now you can say that. Pardon?
I don't know. So I'm not able to.
Okay. I'm waiting if somebody can do this. So okay, what I'll do is, let's listen to him, and then probably you can understand. Again, even in his answer, the answer is not direct. Even in what he was saying, the answer is not very direct. Let's see how many of you will be able to grasp it. So I'm sharing the screen. You can let me know if this is visible for you or audible and visible. Guys, is it both audible and visible for you? Including a couple of examples.
Just wear my earphones. It's not very audible. Start the meeting. He was like, I said.
So what was your first feeling? Like, did you feel relieved? So how are you feeling right now, Jashwin? Okay, so because it's a long conversation, but I'll just finish it off in 3 to 4 minutes. Probably if you look at it's a 34-minute conversation. I'll share the link later, but this is where we started. Okay.
I'm feeling very happy, sir. Actually, I was expecting to pass because of the efforts I have put in. But still, I was a little scared because this attempt was very difficult and it didn't go as I planned. But still, I was hoping for good results. So when I saw the 4 words pass, I was very happy.
Fantastic. So what was your first feeling? Like, did you feel relieved, or did you feel excited, or what actually happened when the results were out?
Actually, yes, I feel relieved that I don't have to go through that phase anymore, like a very stressful phase during that exam time. Particularly the last 1 month, it was very stressful. So I was relieved that I don't have to go through that again. And I was very happy that finally my hard work has given me the results.
Wonderful. Now at this junction, how many of you think, no matter how boring or how difficult the preparation is, for this moment of relief, which is clearly visible on his face, right? Wonderful. That 1 second, like as you can see, is very relieved. He's just smiling all throughout. He's calm, composed. your 100 days is worth spending to experience that moment next time. If it's worth it, please type worth it. That relief, right? I don't have to study again. I'm done and dusted. If it's worth it, please type worth it. Now for that 1 second, like Usain Bolt, 10 seconds, 10 years for 10 seconds, you have to put in 100 days for that 1 minute. Okay. So that is worth it, right? So that is a point number 1. Let's move. So let me rename you before the official convocation. I'm going to add CA. Let me take the honors for you. So
Yes, sir. Thank
when
you.
it gets reflected on the screen, say fantastic feeling. Yeah. So we have met many times in the live sessions. Now I'm meeting you as my professional colleague. I'm really, really happy and proud that it happened. And what about your father? Like your dad has brought us together. Both of us should thank him. So
Yes,
what about his reaction?
Actually, he was today taking a meeting in Pollachi, the news, and he said he will call after.
Working is very sincere. You need a slight push. Probably you're the right guy. Then he gets connected. And from
Yes,
there, marks. The results were very low this time, Jashwin. But still, what do you think are what actually helped you get additional 27 marks? Even those people who are cleared, some of them barely passed. So you got pretty good scores, including a couple of exams.
Just
How many of you have the same question? When the results are so low, when the papers are so tough, how did this guy get an exemption audit? How many of you have this question? The way I had the question, if you have the same question, please type same question. How many of you have the same question? For me, it's a happy shock. Even I was like, okay, audit 60, but yeah. Perfect. Let's see what he has to answer.
my earphones. It's not very audible in speaker.
Sure. Please.
1 minute, sir. Sorry.
Sure, please. No issues, please. Low as compared to the previous attempt. Now,
Yes,
how were you able to get slightly louder? Earlier, you were more clearly audible.
Okay, sir.
Now it's better. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, as I said, this time the results were very low as compared to the previous attempt. Now,
Yes,
how were you able to crack 2 exemptions?
Actually, like I told in the review video, every subject at least I revised 3 times, sir. It was possible only because of the clear 100-day strategy. Right from the start, I followed the 100-day strategy.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So in between, even if I lagged in anywhere, you will be like suddenly 5 days plan like that. You will give something, and in that I will be able to cope up with the 100-day strategy. So even if I lagged in the main strategy, with that small improvements you gave, I was able to follow that 100-day strategy properly.
So for you, 100-day strategy has made the difference. You actually followed it. Perfect.
Yes, sir,
wonderful.
Yes,
and one specific thing, audit, people were shit scared. I think this attempt, a lot of students were extremely scared like never before. Now, how did you end up scoring an exemption?
Yes, sir. Even I failed in audit only in last attempt, but this time I got exemption. So yeah, actually the thing is, last attempt I didn't have the audit is a very dry subject. It was very difficult to study. So I mostly attended the YouTube or some classes, and I was just focusing on that because it was very difficult to sit and study that subject. But I clearly know that was the mistake I did, because only you will be listening in those classes, but when it comes to exam, you can't write it. So this time I was preparing well for the audit, writing exams. Yeah, before and all, you don't write exams for audit because it was just a theory paper. Like that was my mindset. But this time, even for theory papers, law and audit, I wrote EMT. At least I think 2 or 3 mock tests I would have wrote.
Yes. So what was your score in the previous attempt, Jashwin, in audit?
35, sir.
So it's 25 marks improvement. Wonderful. Yes, exceptional, Jashwin.
And also in audit, especially I have to thank you for the exam presentation tips, sir. Because in my last attempt, I think I have only attempted around 75 to 80 marks. But this time, even though it was difficult, and I think a few questions, like 4 more questions, 3 or 4 questions, I didn't know the exact full answer. So I wrote only what I know, and I didn't waste time in writing just random think I didn't write. I wrote only what I know. I think those 2, 3 or 4 lines also fetched at least 1 or 2 marks. That's the reason the 60 marks is possible.
Yes. So the best part is, once you experienced a failure, once you made some mistakes, you're quickly able to learn, because fundamentally that's the number one thing which we talk about. Like 100 days is what you have to follow it, the 100-day strategy. And the next important thing is you're also using the micro level plans, like the 5-day boot camp and all the intervention which you're bringing in. And this is not easy, Jashwin, no matter what we say. See, because I would like to give 100% credit to this. This is not at all easy. I want you to become the exemption expert for audit. Like I'll bring you back. So this is exceptionally good to my mentors. Like whenever I have a question, I make it very people to understand what exactly is mentorship. April. So 3 months is what we officially spent. 10 days for your examination. All the students, in fact, we share it basically. And yeah, before I proceed forward, how many of you have failed in your previous attempt because of audit, like Jashwin? All the students who are writing one group or both groups, how many of you had the same problem of failing in audit? Priya, okay. Priya, Rajan, Samarth, Darshan, Lokesh, Rahul, okay. Now, how many of you actually want to resolve it like Jashwin? Like you're failing because of a subject, let me go and get an exemption in that. How many of you think it's a decent challenge which you can put yourself, right? Okay, this is not working. Let me focus on it. Let me work on it. Let me go ahead and crack it. Fair enough. Right. Let's look into more points which Jashwin had to share as you proceed forward in the journey. So I think you understood the reason why he was able to improve from the 25s to the 60s and 35 to 60 in audit. I think that is between clear. This to this, we have asked you what exactly has happened. I'm very impressed to see the way you have presented. It reminds me of Nishike's testimonial. It is one of the classic and benchmark for all the students. In fact, we share it for people to understand what exactly is mentorship. I think this is also joining the club in terms of the quality of and preciseness of presentation. So first, you're saying preparation is preparation plus mentorship is equal to pass. Now, when you're saying, what is the additional component which mentorship is bringing in here? Like preparation is all about your study, right? So what exactly is the role of mentorship here?
Actually, yes, sir. In my, if you know, my last attempt, I scored already 185. So from it is not possible to get 185 without preparation. With the basic preparation, I got that 185. But from that 185 to 200 is very difficult. So that part only mentorship helped me a lot. How to prepare. For example, if I just came from my friend's marriage and I would have started studying on my own, I wouldn't have a proper plan from where to start and how to start. I would not have the overall picture. But with this 100-day strategy, I had a picture in mind. So this is how we are going to study. By the end of March, I have to complete the syllabus. So entirely April is for revision. That's how I plan. And even though there was some lag in between there, I somehow coped to finish the entire syllabus by the March end and started my revision by the starting of April. So that was really helpful. And like I said, the DER, actually I was filing the DER regularly. So that actually my DER was a little bit different from others. Like I made it like a notes for like a theory subjects, law, every chapter. I made it like a short notes. So before the revision, it will be very useful for me, because instead of turning 80 pages for one chapter, if I turn 10 pages, it will be completed very fast. And at least I will know everything from every topic. At least 2 or lines I will know from every topic. So that's how I did my DER. Every day when I study some topics, I will summarize that into 2 lines, and I made some notes out of it. So that helped me really a lot in revision time.
Right. And this is an interesting statement, but it took years to find a mentorship program like this. Why was it
Yes.
hard? And it's not only about you. I have been listening to this from other students also.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
what made you say that? Like, it's a very powerful statement, I would say.
At a point of time, I started realizing that most of the institutes, CA coaching institutes, are only focusing on completing their syllabus. They are not even telling how to write the exams, how to prepare for
Right.
the exams. And
Right.
they won't even talk a single word about it. They will just focus on syllabus completion, because they will even have a limited time to complete the portion. So they won't
Right.
talk about anything like this, and just take the classes and go. So that's what I felt like. In CA coaching, there should be something like how to crack these exams. They should conduct sessions now online. Then like this, and then this thought I always had, but I didn't know that there is some mentorship program like this
Right.
separately. I came to know only through my father.
Understood. Now, in terms of talking about coaching, because a lot of people continuously talk about coaching, if you have to define, what do you think is the difference between mentorship and coaching? Like, as you mentioned, it has a different perspective. Like, what is the biggest difference which you find in mentorship as compared to your coaching?
Coaching is purely about only subjects. What is there in the subject, they will teach. But how to study that subject, how to a faculty for every subject, there will be a single faculty. So he will come and talk only about one particular subject. But in mentorship, totally how to handle all the subjects together, how to when to study which subject, like that, a proper plan and proper guidance regarding how to complete each subject. For example, we faced difficulties in studying audit. So we were we will discuss standards on auditing every day, or we made a presentations in law, which was very useful. Like I made a board meeting chapter PPT for that
Right.
presentation, and I became like very confident in that chapter because of that PPT. It made me
Right.
feel so confident, because when I prepared the PPT, I wanted it to be perfect. So I gone through the full chapter entirely like 2 or 3 times. So that helped me in a lot. So like this, there are some easy ways to study this subject, and this can be taught only in mentorship. That's what I felt.
Perfect. So, do you think mentorship is also necessary for all students in general? Like, because
Yes,
it's a
sir.
new
Actually,
concept,
I
right?
felt that. Yes. Along with coaching, everyone should give a mentorship also. That's what I thought when I joined this program, because many students are good. They are very good in putting hard work, but they don't know how to prepare and how to clear these exams,
Right.
because
Right.
yeah, it is the first time they are facing a competitive exam like this. In schools and all, it was different, but in CA, it is entirely different. So if there is someone like a mentor who is guiding you through, because you have so much experience from all the past students, so you tell
Right.
this is where students makes mistake. This is where you have to be careful. So with that, we can improve and not do the mistakes in our first attempt itself. Otherwise, students will come to know all those mistakes only after writing 1 or 2 attempts. With this mentorship, you
Right.
can come to know in the first attempt itself. That is what I felt.
Perfect. So, in terms of other students who are not yet understanding what mentorship is, because you have understood it after going through it, right?
Yes.
So, if you look at it, probably at the end of the process, you understood it in a better manner.
Yes,
now, for somebody who is new or who would have never understood mentorship, how can you define mentorship for them?
Actually, some people are thinking like mentorship is like motivation, or making you sit and study like a tuition center. But mentorship is not like that. It's not like spoon feeding at all. You have to put all the hard work.
Now, how many of you, while he was talking about coaching, how many of you could correlate what he said? Like he said something deep, right? They're not focusing on how it has to be done. They're busy in completing the syllabus, but how many of you experience the gap? How many of you are experienced the gap while you're taking coaching? Or how can, if it's relatable or correlate? Okay, I think almost 30%, right? 30% have identified this problem. When you've identified a problem, What is the solution you found? Or how did you try to resolve it? Okay, this is the problem. By only depending on coaching or repeatedly taking coaching, I'm not going to clear. I'm wasting my time, money, energy, and most important, attempts. So what did you do about it? 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 When you identified the problem, what did you do about it? I'm not just talking about today. Okay, that's a smart answer. I'm not just talking about this session, like in general, like this though it happened today, but what were you doing? What were you, see, it's not about this particular problem of coaching alone. I want to understand how do you solve problems, because you'll get more problems. Didn't have the time to do anything with it. What else? What else? Because this is not the only problem. We'll get a lot of problems in between. I want to understand your problem solving capability in reality, in practical life. So some of you did something, some of you did not do anything. In terms of Jeshwin, what did he do? He also had the same problem. What did you do? What did you do? How did you solve the problem? Both of you had the same problems, right? When Jeshwin has mentioned that, I was having a problem with coaching. I was not able to, understand how it has to take it or how I have to solve it. What did you do? And so when both of you had the same problem, what is the solution he has taken? And what is it different about you? Took decision to take mentorship. No, that's not the right answer. You're close, Rajan, but that's not the right answer. If you have paid attention, there is something else. What did you do? What did you do? No, you're once again. See, bootcamp is something which he came to know about after joining mentorship. No, that's bootcamp is not something which he would have found out himself. Wait. Okay. So you're not. Yes, Manju, fantastic. Give a round of applause for Manju. He started looking for solution. He started looking for solution. This is very, very, very important. Started looking for solution. Started looking for a solution. When you identify a problem, okay, this is a problem. This is a problem. You start looking for solution. You need to know that you have to solve it. This is see, I'm saying joining the mentorship is not the best thing which he has done. It has happened for him. First, he has started looking for solution. He understood that there is a gap. There is something which has to be done. That's why I said, right? It took me a very long time to find it, which means I have been looking for something like this. Only when you start looking for something like this, when you find it, you will be able to understand, okay, this is an opportunity. If that is not the case, you wouldn't even know, right? You would not even know. For example, I'll give you a very common example. Let's say you want to decide to buy a car or buy a bike. You suddenly start seeing that brand bike ridiculously more in the road as compared to any other vehicle. How many of you experienced it? Let's say I wanted to buy Mahindra XUV 400. You will see that from the next day, a lot of XUV 400s are there in the road, right? Did they increase? You're noticing when I want to buy a particular bike or something, it actually means that out of hundreds of your thoughts, which has distributed bandwidth, out of hundreds of thoughts which are distributed bandwidth, you started looking for something very specific where your mind is able to identify. Now, what he has done is he noticed that, okay, coaching is not going to solve my problem. I'm not able to solve my problem. Let me outsource this problem to someone. Let me find someone who can solve it for me. I cannot solve it. I'm not trying to find a solution directly. I'm trying to find someone who can solve this. How many of you understood this? How many of you understood this? You need not solve the problem directly. You just have to find someone who is solving a problem for him. Okay, so this is the biggest difference which has worked for him. Let's say in order to clear CA, there are multiple things. Let's say joining mentorship is probably one good decision for any student. That is one decision. But this is the approach which you have to follow for anything. Now, when you realize that I'm not able to revise on a consistent basis. I'm not able to, all those who have mentioned about revision, now I want someone to tell me what is the extent, what is the depth to which you went ahead and found a solution. What is the solution you found for revision? I want someone, one of you to respond to me. What is the solution which you found to revision? What did you try? Apart from watching half a dozen useless videos and assuming you'll revise. What did you do? You're not able to revise. Last attempt, something went wrong. What did you do? What is it you tried? Okay, good. That's a good answer. Making notes. Okay. Cumulative revision by self. Okay, good. What else? What else? No, you're not. What is concept clarity? See, once you need to understand something. Okay, I'll also take you through the process. Passive studying through revisionary videos. Okay, this is slightly helping. Okay, passive revision is slightly helping. What else? Short charts. What else? Good. Good. Let's say for revision, we have identified 4 to 5 techniques or 5 to 6 things. ABC analysis is not good for revision. It is good for syllabus completion. It's not good for revision. Mind map, self-evaluation. In a way, yes. Not directly include revision. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So there are a set of solutions which your friends are. You can look at it. You will have to decide which one. Okay. Next, in terms of consistency, what is the solution which you have identified? In terms of building your consistency, what is the solution which you have tried? What is the solution which you have identified? Setting daily targets is not the solution, it's the problem. You keep setting, nothing will happen, right? Planning is a problem. Planning is not a solution. Is there any solid solution? Is there any solid solution? Take care. Told people to push me. Okay, fantastic. As long as it works. Completing daily tasks and rewarding with some treat. Very good. Getting it done on daily basis. Staying away from the phone. Very good. Revising at the end of the day. Fantastic. Accountability to one person. Lovely. Good. Yes, that is the concept of event vision. Yes, it is also right. Yes. Now, all of you have the solutions, right? Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, you have the problem. You also have a kind of a solution. Now, what do you think is the difference between your solution and the solution which has been implemented by Jeshwin? Let's say Jeshwin decided that I was trying to find a mentorship. I found it. I joined it. I followed it. He kept on saying, I trusted the 100-day strategy. I trusted the strategy, and I executed whatever he said and everything. Okay. Now, let's look at his solution versus your solution. Now, why did his solution work? Why did your solution did not work? What happened? What happened? Blind faith, implementation. Our solution is per our comfort zone. Okay, what else? What else? Why do you think his solution worked? Why do you think the solution is not working? Simran, that's a good statement. Yes. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. So I'll simplify this. See, I'm saying this in a very simplified manner. I'm not here to tell you that you have to go and clear CA. But I'm here to tell you that if you're not clearing CA, you're losing an opportunity cost of 16 crore. If you're not clearing CA, you might end up losing an opportunity cost of 16 crore in your lifetime. I'm not saying that you should go ahead and clear CA. I'm telling you, if at all you don't clear CA within a stipulated time. Okay, let me show the numbers here. Because I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to artificially push you. I'm here to say something very profound. Okay, this is your 3-step career path. If you can clear CA in one attempt, you'll have to start earning 1 lakh per month, and you have to create a path to a network of 10 crore. right? Over a period of time, these three things are the reasons. Everyone has emotion. Like emotion is given. You don't have to separately say that clearing CA is an emotion. Everything is an emotion. That is the reason why you're doing it. Even eating is an emotion. If you don't feel like eating, you don't even eat. Forget about clearing CA. So you don't have to overcode the obvious, right? So the bigger part is you need to understand, okay, it's a part of a longer process where it will help you to increase your income and also long-term wealth, right? And from our side, it is clear. So at the emotion angle, if you talk about it, yes, even we have an emotion, we want to transform 10,000 plus semi-qualified CAs into newly qualified CAs in the next couple of years. So we are en route with students cooperating, coming back and helping more students clear. We are going in a particular direction. Now, you should also have your vision and you should also understand what exactly is the implication of not clearing. So I'm just looking to show you a number which we have calculated, where that will convert your clearing or not clearing into a financial problem instead of an emotional problem. So a lot of people, if it's an emotional problem, you're willing to bear it forever because you're not losing anything. But the moment you understand it's not just emotion, you will be able to operate it in a far more better manner. I was looking for the numbers. Okay, these are the statistics. Yeah. So if you're not clearing CA, if you're taking one extra attempt, this is the opportunity cost per month. This is the opportunity cost for failed attempt. Let's say if you have cleared CA in this attempt, this is what you would have earned by the end of the year. How many of you agree? Let's say if you have crossed CA by now, by May 23, how many of you agree that you would have made at least this much by the end of the December? So we call it penny wise and pound foolish. Now, the examination fee which you pay for ICA, that 3,000, 4,000, or the coaching fee, mentor fee is nothing. This is the real cost. This is the opportunity cost, is the real cost of a professional. Not every profession has an opportunity cost. Not everyone has an opportunity cost. An intermediate student would not have an opportunity cost because he's yet to join articleship. It's an indirect cost. For you, it's directly an opportunity cost. So this is something what you have to realize. So if you look at it, by looking at multiple in terms of you earning and not earning across a period of 30 years with 20% increment altogether, the differential income between clearing CA and getting stuck in a semi-qualified job forever for the next 30 years, this is the difference. 16 crore. It's the problem which you're dealing right now is a 16 crore problem, not a mine. I did not feel like studying. It's not a lollipop problem. It's a problem which can demolish your life or which can elevate your life to a next level. I'm talking about let's forget about 16 crore. Let's make it 10 crore, which is $1 million. It's $1 million problem. People talk about $1 million, right? $1 million are valuable even in India. So it's $1 million problem. The problem which you are trying to resolve is $1 million problem. So when you understand that it's $1 million problem, you need to bring in the $1 million attention. You cannot casually, let's say, when you have to do an open heart surgery, you cannot open YouTube and check for how do I get my heart repaired, or you cannot watch a motivational video to fix your heart, right? So when your career is in ICU, when your career is in deep danger, you should not look at it like a very laid back approach. Let me watch one more video, let me attend one more workshop, let me, if you're continuing this, your career is going backward, and each losing step, you're not competing with people who are going forward. You're competing with artificial intelligence. You're competing with chat GPT. You're competing with sophisticated tools, which are improving hundreds and thousands of times. So by the time you clear CA, probably you may not be as relevant as you think you might be. Already a lot of things are gone. Accounting is completely gone. How many of you understood that accounting is gone? You're noticing it in terms of the delay. So you need to know, you definitely have to know that by not clearing CA in a particular attempt, you're losing a lot of opportunities which might impact your career even after you clear. So this is not only an important problem, this is also an urgent problem. This is not only an important problem, this is also an urgent problem. Before I proceed ahead and talk about a solution, we are very clear. We are very clear about solving this problem for students who are writing it in this attempt. Somebody who wants to write or clear CA at some point of time, I'm not here to bother about you. Let's look at it at that point of time. If I write it in May, let's look at it at a later point of time. But right now, if you're very determined, if you are very, very clear to qualify or clear in November 23, whether it's group 1, group 2, or both groups, please mention that very clearly in the chat box. I want to clear group 1 in November 23, or I want to clear group 2 in November 23, or I want to clear both groups in November 23. I want to mention that very clearly, because the problem is not only important, it is urgent as well. It is urgent as well. I want to solve it only if it is urgent for you. Fair enough, right? So this is both important and urgent. Okay, this is both important and urgent. Now, how many of you found some level of clarity by listening to me for the last 70-80 minutes? How many of you got a sense of direction? How many of you understood the mistake? How many of you understand what to focus upon? Or how many of you learned something from Jeshwin? Okay, so you learned something. Fair enough. Good. I'm happy for that. Good. You learned something. It was insightful. Thank you for this. How many of you also realize that? How many of you are matured enough to realize that this is necessary but not sufficient, because the workshop might end at 9:15, 9:30. Now, just by listening to the workshop, you may not automatically clear, right? How many of you realize that this is not enough? Or let's say necessary but not sufficient. You can write that necessary but not sufficient. How many of you realize that? Now, the first difference is a decision. Jeshwin has taken a decision to ensure the support is not restricted to 90 minutes. The support is extended to 90 days. So what has Jeshwin done? Probably has attended a workshop like this, and he decided to extend the support till 90 days from that beginning of or end of January to end of April. Like, he also attended the workshop. He also learned something. Along with Jeshwin, there are a lot of people along with Jeshwin. So 90% of them did not even take a decision. And they're still probably they're coming back and attend this workshop, whatever it is. So once you realize that this is necessary but not sufficient, how many of you want to seriously think about the solution or the decision which Jeshwin has taken? Jeshwin has taken the decision to extend this support for the next 90 days. Now, this time it is next 115 days or next 120 days. How many of you want an extended support? How many of you want extended support? Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. How many of you know that workshop can be made free? Like workshop, because it is 90 minutes, 100 minutes, since we also have a vision of helping a lot of people, because the way Him Life School works is 70% of the work which we do is free. Like 70% of that time spent, the resources we share, most of it are free, because that's the reason why you're getting a lot of mail. That is the reason why you keep getting invitations to join a lot of workshops. Earlier, we used to charge 450 for this workshop. Now we decided, okay, whatever it is, we'll reduce the number of people who we take as paid students. We'll restrict it, and remaining we'll share free. But free comes at a particular bandwidth. I can help you for 90 minutes, but I cannot take you responsible for 90 days. Okay. So you know that workshop can be done for free and the mentorship cannot be done for free. I think all of you are very clear about it, because it is 90 minutes, it is 90 days or 100 days. For example, we'll also touch 100 days. 100 days versus 100 minutes. 100 minutes, I can give it to you for free. That is no doubt. You can attend it any number of days. How many of you realize that mentorship cannot be free? How many of you realize that mentorship cannot be free? If it's fair, it's fair enough. Okay, fine. Nice. One thing which you can notice is, as we keep increasing the depth of what we are talking, the number of students in the numerator keep moving off. Had it been motivation session, over a period of time, people will increase. If it's a deep content session, people will decrease. You always see entertainment, motivation, dopamine boost. There will be more people. I'll give an example. Now go back and type on YouTube. Go back and type on YouTube about result readiness session or something like that. You'll find a lot of students joining a certain set of faculties for 4 hours, 5 hours. How many of you know this? So they're like, you have to relax. You have to be ready for result. You have to, how many of you have an idea of this? You have to get ready for result and you have to, you understand what I'm talking about? The sessions will go for 3 to 4 hours. You go and watch any session, I'm sure there will be at least, I don't know, 25 to 30,000 views for that. For something where it seems you have to mentally get ready for result. Now, for something which you get after result, once you have to know what you have to do after result, you'll hardly get at least 1 or 10% of the audience. So this explains out of the 100 students which you're talking about, generally the serious crowd is only 20-30%. So if you ask me what is the pass percent of CA, effectively it is still 50-60%, because outrightly out of 100 students, 70 people are not serious. They won't put in the effort. They are not committed. They're not looking for the solution. They only want to listen to the problem. They want somebody to keep repeating the problem that I say the correction is tough, papers are out of syllabus, or see, the whole point is 11% out of 30 is 40%. That's what I'm talking about. 11% out of 30 is 40%. Every student who is writing the main exam is not serious. There are students who have written that I have prepared for 30 days for this attempt. Should I consider them as serious student? They might have the good intention. If somebody has written a group studying only for 30 days in the regular manner, should I consider them as a serious student? You tell me yes or no. You tell me yes or no. So if you look at it, there are only a selected set of students who are reasonably serious and sincere about clearing. Okay, so that is what we're talking about. Now we discussed that, okay, workshop can be made free, mentorship cannot be made free. Now I'm saying mentorship cannot be cheap. Mentorship cannot be cheap. I'll tell you why. If you're talking about solving an important problem, which did not get resolved even after going to 8 different best of the best faculties, even after spending lakhs of rupees in coaching, even after spending months of time, even after repeating your coaching, even after going through revision videos, even after writing test series, if a problem is not getting resolved, isn't it a deep and complex problem? Now, when somebody has done all of this, let's say if it's a simple problem, if fixing concentration is a simple problem, or becoming consistent is a simple problem. If this is a simple problem, your hundreds of YouTube grants should have solved it, right? If you understand that clearing, or passing is a deep and complex problem, especially when you're already facing it, please type deep plus complex. Please type deep plus complex problem if you understand that it is, because only when you understand the depth of the problem, only when you understand the complexity of the problem, you'll start looking for deep solutions. The reason why you'll keep looking for motivation is you don't understand. You don't write D complex and B complex, write it very clearly. So when the only problem is you think it's a silly problem. That's the reason why you're looking at a silly and useless solution. Motivation is a very, very silly and useless solution for deep and complex problems. For something, it will work. For example, to lift weights. For example, you went to a gym. You switched on the music, you lift weights, you lift it. End of story. That's it. You cannot rev up that high and loud music and start studying and start solving costing sums, right? It cannot be practically possible. Once in a while, to get that basic energy, we also play music. That is okay. You're understanding the difference. Lifting weights, music is something else, and this, you're understanding. Now, a Swiggy driver can, or somebody who is driving Uber can probably, switch on his. I was yesterday driving a Uber. Somebody was watching a serial in the car and is driving. That's okay in a regular Hyderabad road. It's all fine. But when you have to drive through a desert, or when you have to do actual, Formula 1 racing, you cannot afford to be distracted, right? So motivation works for certain set of things where that is a silly and superficial problem. Now the problem here is you're not being consistent. You're not able to complete the syllabus. You're not able to revise, remember, present, all of this. You have tried it, right? You have put in 800 to 900 hours. You have to look at the number of hours you're investing, and you have to understand that it is a deep and complex problem. So deep and complex problems need deep and complex solutions, or I would say at least deep solutions. Deep problems require deep solutions. Would you agree? Would you agree that deep problems require deep solution? Yes or no? So if you look at statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, we're talking about a deep problem. We're talking about a deep problem, and you're talking about a deep solution. Okay. So essentially, you should realize that deep problem cannot have a cheap solution. Deep problem cannot have a cheap solution. For example, oh, are you struggling with pain in the heart? I'll do an open heart surgery. Please pay me 15,000. I'll do an open heart surgery, recovery in 2 days. Please pay me 15,000. Would you go and would you go and get your heart operated there? Liver transplantation, transplantation, Diwali discount, flat 50%. Would you get your liver operated there? Why? Why? Why are you not going there? For example, you like discounts, right? You like offers, you like something cheap. Yeah. Priya, what do you mean by risk? What do you mean by risk? No, why are you not trusting it? You know that it's not practically possible, right? It's not practically possible. You know, it cannot happen, right? If somebody starts saying that, yeah. And if somebody starts saying that, your entire financial reporting coaching I'll give you for 700 rupees. When somebody sells it for 20,000, you'll say costly. But when somebody sells it for 700 rupees, you'll say it's silly, right? Selling financial reporting at 20,000, you say it costly, but you believe that something is there. The problem is somebody says 700 because it's practically not possible at all. It's not possible. It's just not possible for someone to maintain it at that point of time. Now imagine if you are failing 6 times, 7 times for the last 3 years or 4 years. And then you are spending lakhs of rupees, and then you are spending, thousands of hours, and somebody suddenly says, pay me 1,000 rupees per month, or 2,000 rupees per month, or 10,000 rupees per attempt, or 5,000, 6,000, whatever for that. I'll make you a chartered accountant. Because we keep getting this because of the trust deficit created in some market-based motivational programs which are disguised as mentorship. It is unfortunate that I have to explain this. So I'm trying to tell you that if you are somehow carried away with motivation is equal to mentorship, this is not for you. This is the only mentorship program in India. I can say it very strongly and clearly because of the process it has got involved. And we have got ISO certification, and we got a copyright from the government of India for the framework which we have built, which took us more than 10,000 hours. So I'm not here to tell you whether you should join this or not, but I'm here to tell you that you should understand what you're getting into. I also want to be very clear about what kind of students are getting into. Just because you can pay or just because you cannot pay, cannot clear. You need to be very clear that you should be willing to commit. At least 10 hours a day if you are a full-time professional, at least 5 hours a day if you're a working professional. Okay, so let's start with this commitment part. How many of you, because you have given me a 100-day commitment, how many of you can commit to study for 10 hours a day? How many of you can commit to study for 10 hours a day? Working professionals, 5 hours enough, 3 to 5 hours, because working professionals will support only one group. Working professionals will support only for one group in an attempt. Will support only for one group because it is very difficult for you to write both at a time. Unless you already crossed 300, 320, then both can be thought of. Otherwise, if you don't have the condition of crossing 300, 320, we'll only support for one group. Yes, it is possible. Okay, all right. Okay, now I think we have looked into the time commitment. Okay, now how many of you can trust us? How many of you can trust that if we support you? He has mentioned that, right? Pass is equal to preparation plus mentorship. Now you're already preparing. If this mentorship is added, you can pass. How many of you trust that if our mentorship is added, you can pass? Wonderful. Okay, so now we looked into a lot of steps. So I'm simplifying the decision for you. Now the workshop will keep happening in the next 20 minutes. In next 20 minutes, I'm saying 20 minutes because I just want to ensure I'll get a certain set of students who can take a quick decision and right decision, and who can understand that there is practical limitation in 90 minutes. I need that 90 days for helping you to become a chartered accountant. Is something which you should be reasonably matured about. Okay, so what I'll do, with your permission, what I'll do is I'll quickly explain what exactly are the components of this and how you can get benefited, including the charges. Okay, so this is something which I'll explain. After this, once it is done, for those who are interested, we'll continue the conversation on a one-on-one basis. The workshop will continue. I'll keep adding more points. This is not like your auditing points checklist. If you're coming in the coaching format, probably you're still making the same mistake. If you're expecting this session to happen like your coaching session, point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, you're not matured enough to understand to solve a problem. So this is a life problem. This is a complex problem, which is including your routine, mindset, and all of that. So it has to be open. And I'm just opening up your thought process. If you're finding value, that's okay. If you're not understanding, if you're looking for a checklist, or if you're looking for another YouTube thumbnail, no, this is not what you get. So we are trying to open up your thought process. That is exactly what you're working upon. So we'll conclude this in 20 minutes for people who are interested to take this forward. And once we conclude it, from probably 9:10, 9:15, this session will continue, where I'll talk to each of you individually. Just like how we are looked at a particular mark sheet, we look into a mark sheet, we look at what has went right and what has went wrong, and we'll continue. Like until everybody say that my query is resolved, whatever, I can resolve your query on an individual basis, so that I'll be justifying, because the first 100 or 110 minutes, it was open. We're talking about everything. But I understand I'm getting some questions personally that I want to know more about mentorship. Please explain what it is. So there are some people who have already decided. So I'll explain everything. Yes, I'll explain everything. So we'll discuss this. For those who are interested, they can get started with the process. They'll get an onboarding mail within the next 30 minutes. And their journey starts. Just like they'll get the first boot camp today itself. They'll kickstart from tomorrow. All of that will happen. Okay. And once this is done, for the rest of the people, we'll take it forward. And at the last, I'll quickly take you through an overview for everyone, whether you join or not. I'll quickly take you through the entire structure and the schedule of how you can get going from today till the last day of the last exam. See, all of that you'll get to know. See, it's a process. It's not something which something which I can tell you in a sentence. It's a 90-day process. It's a very complex process. It's a very complex process for explain. It happens step by step. But if you give me permission, I can share you what I'm talking about. So if you think that's a reasonable plan, please type proceed. If you want me to proceed, please type proceed. Fantastic. Thank you for the permission. Thank you for the permission. Hold your seatbelts right. So keep your payment options ready, because we are just giving a limited time, and then we are going to the Q&A mode. And I want only the people who are listening to me inside the Zoom session to have access to this. So they'll be in a position to take the right decision. I don't